Hey everyone, Erikamari here. I wanted to make this video for you guys. I've gotten some questions from my friends personally and of course from all of my fabulous viewers about haircuts for boys or for guys. And I am really excited because I have actually been doing my husband's hair for a while now using another one of my aunt's techniques, and I wanted to be able to share that with you guys, especially because right now there are a lot of barber shops and things like that that are closed and hair is still growing and nobody's cutting it. So I wanted to share this with you guys because just like cutting our own hair, cutting a guy's hair isn't as intimidating as it might seem. Certainly, you know, there's a learning curve and there, you know, just like with everything, it takes practice and takes time. But I wanted you guys to see that if you go slow and if you take your time, use all the guides that are included with a lot of the clipper sets, you will actually succeed. And there's a lot of fear, you know, that's happening right now. And again, with this community, what I love about all of you is that we're not afraid to try and to do new things. So I wanted to, again, share this with you guys in hopes that it will help you and help your husbands and your brothers and your sons and anybody else who needs a shorter haircut. First thing I would let you know is the type of clipper that I use. This particular one is from Remington. I love this clipper. This is the one that my aunt has recommended and that she used to show me this technique. It is, and I'll get my little, I still have the instruction manual. It's the HK Vac 2000. It's just a Remington vacuum hair clipper. Vacuum is huge and bold. Why? Because it's like the most genius thing ever. This actually has a vacuum that's built into it. So you'll notice there's like a giant hole here. As you're cutting the hair, it gets sucked in to this chamber and the chamber fills up and then you can dump it out. And it's less mess for the guys, like it doesn't fly all over their face or get all over the place. It's less mess for you, right? Because especially if you're cutting indoors, you know, things will, I mean, there's still hair that's going to be around on the floor, probably on your hair, on your clothes and things, but it's definitely not as much, definitely not as messy. And I love the idea that that everything is contained and that you know, everything gets put in there. I also have had some excellent experience with Remington's customer service with when one of my blades wasn't working. So that was really cool of them to be able to replace it for me super quick. And they were really helpful on how to fix it and how to keep it maintained. And I love it. It's cute and it's blue and it works off of a power cord. I know they make some wireless ones now and some different things. But the one we have is, again, this one here, and I love it and I can't wait to show you guys how to work with it. And I wanted to share with you guys a little bit of information about the guides that are inside the kit, as well as what kind of we're used to as far as sizing guides. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so everything you see on the table is what came in this kit for this clipper set. Again, you'll see that there are various guides as well as the clipper, nice little bag to keep it in, some oil, comb, scissors, etc. Now these guides are actually broken down by size, and it shows you in millimeters as well as in inches for each attachment. This is nice because, again, as you cut hair, you're going to realize more and more, you know, which sizes, you know, your significant other or your son or whoever it is you're cutting their hair likes. Now these particular ones, this Remington brand does not show you the numeral system the way that they would have in a barber shop. The numeral system goes from a 10 all the way down to a 0, 10 being the longest, 0 being no guide on it at all. From what we have here, they've given kind of just like an overview. They haven't given everything. So what we have here, right, we're missing the 10, but we have a 9. Here's 8. This is the 7. here's where 6 would be. 5, 4, 3, 2. I don't have any 1s, but they did provide these nice right and left tapers, which I do use very often. I'd recommend them as well. And then of course 0 being the clipper on its own without anything on it. So when I go through this, I typically use the millimeter size to cut my husband's hair. I don't go by the actual numeral, but what's nice is that I found this awesome website that shows the millimeters, inches, and then what the typical barbershop numerals are for, you know, when you go and you ask the barber or your you know, salon person for you know, I want a 3 or I want a 5 or a 2 or whatever it is. There's like a nice little chart on it and everything, so I'll link that in the video so you guys can see that chart. But again, it's typically broken down by the length, and so I usually use like the 5, 5, 4, 3, and 2 for my husband's hair. I use all of these, including the tapers. I never have really used these bigger ones. This is, you know, 3/4 inch and 1 inch, and that's just way too long. But again, everybody's style is different. Everybody likes a different style. So it's nice that they put those in. You can also buy guides like this on Amazon and different places. This particular model of vacuum, I don't think that they have it anymore. I think they've sold out. But they do have another one, and they've been color coding the guides, which I think is such a great idea, because then you can say, oh yeah, my husband uses, you know, blue, red, and orange, you know, instead of the number or even like the millimeter. But for today, we're going to stick from 12 millimeter, 9 millimeter, 6 millimeter, and 3 millimeter, and then the right and left tapers. All right, so I hope you guys are really excited to get started. I know I am. Again, I'm not a professional by any means. We are doing this together. We're going to do it slow. We're going to do it step by step. We're going to use a couple of techniques that I've picked up along the way as well. And I really hope that you guys, you know, give yourself some grace and take your time. Take a deep breath, realize that right now we are all helping one another, and that's what's really important right now. And I hope that this video blesses you guys and allows you to help out your hubbies and your brothers and your sons and whoever it is who is in need of a cut right now. So yeah, so let's get started and let's go. Okay, so I actually start all over to just kind of get a basis of where we are, you know, where it's grown for these, you know, however many weeks, and I want to be able to cut it. But if you cut it from too long to too short, it can actually tug a lot on the hair. So I start at my longest length, which is the 1/2 inch. And I get my clippers and we go up. And again, this is just to get the hair to a more manageable length, so that way it's not tugging as much when we start to actually put in the fades and the different levels. So what's nice about this is that you don't have to be too scared of how far up or down you are. And of course with this, the trick here that we will be using is that there's more of a forward motion when we get to the top part of the head. And again, we're just going, just clipping, little scooping as we go as well. And again, as you get closer to the top, you make a more forward motion, and this will make sure that you don't cut off too much hair. Now my husband loves a longer length at the top and a fade to shorter at the bottom, so that's what we're going to do today. It usually keeps, how long would you say it usually keeps for, hon?
Probably 3 to 4 weeks.
Like 3 to 4 weeks, yeah. But his hair, I mean, it doesn't grow, as quickly. So, for others, it might be a little bit, a little longer, or a little shorter time, I mean. But yeah, once you get towards the top of the head, make sure the motion is always forward. Because of course, if you go back, you might cut off more than you bargained for. And what I love again about these clippers is the built-in vacuum, so there's not a lot of mess. And it's catching it all in the chamber. So forward at the top. And you see again, it's all becoming one length, which again for right now is okay because we are just trying to get it to a manageable length. So then you can check again and see if anything else is coming off. I think this is about as good as it's going to get. Oh, got a little bit more here. And feel free again, to walk around, kind of checking out as you go. And I'll let you guys see the other side once we do that. But again, this is like the easiest part. Now I've been cutting his hair. Oh my gosh, how long have I been cutting your hair? Little over 2 years. Again, another technique that my awesome titi showed me. I, again, am not a professional hairstylist by any means. But, he allowed me to mess up a couple of times. I mean, it's a learning thing. And what's nice about hair is that it always grows back. So yeah, 2.5 years later, and I feel like I've got a little bit better of a technique down. I've got the little bit of a fade down a little bit better. And again, this is just my technique. Certainly, there are others out there, but I really like this because it's easy, it's quick, and then we save money. Okay, so as you can see, again, all his hair is about the same length, about that 1/2 inch. And again, we're going to get the other sizes. This is just so that way I don't tug at his head as much. This 1/2 inch, though, is what he likes on the top. So we are going to keep that length. And so that's what I'm making sure of now, that it stays. That the top at least is done. I mean, again, we can always go back. But yeah, so top looks good. And we're actually pretty full in the chamber. So I am going to take it out. So there's like a little thing here. You can see his hair got caught up there. I have my little bag over here. We're enjoying the fresh air today. Okay, so now that that's done, again, and he's all kind of one length, now we can go ahead and start framing and doing the fades. For me, what I've noticed is if I use my hand as kind of a guide, it will show me, where to put, the lines. So if you see, as my hand is here on the side of his head, it kind of gives me like a nice little guide for where the top is going to stay and where the fade will kind of begin. I always do longest to shortest because, again, you can always cut more off. You can't always go back. So my next size is this, is 3/8 inch size, or the 9 millimeter. Again, for the numbers, it's probably like a 4-ish. And what I will do is, again, using my hand, and we'll do this side first. Actually, yeah, we'll do this side first, and then we will we'll keep going. So this side first, and I'll use my hand, and then I'll bring you guys around to see the other side. But again, as you get towards the front of the head, you want more of a forward motion, just to make sure you're not cutting off too much. But we'll take off from the bottom as well. So we're gonna take off, and again, because it's gonna give us a nice fade, I'm using my hand to see where I need to stop, which is, again, about right here. And then I'll go sideways and forward. Now you can go up. Certainly you want to go up. So you want to make sure, you're keeping that line. Not a bowl cut line, but, just enough to where you can see it, that it starts to make the transition. And again, what's nice about cutting the bottom part off as you go is that then the other size doesn't have as much of a task to cut off more hair. So see how this line is kind of being, you can kind of see how like there's less hair here. And we will go backwards here. I like to go forward first because it makes me feel good that I'm not shaving all of his hair off before I want to. And he appreciates that too. So again, you can kind of see, all right, here's my line, putting my hand and bringing up the clippers in a scooping. And that helps to make the fade as well. All right, so we do have a bit of a visible line right now, which is okay, because what I'm going to do next, because we're going to stick to the side, because again, I can't move the camera with me. I'm actually going to get this handy dandy left taper. I am a really big fan of the built-in guides that they give you. Again, a lot of them will give you the tapers, and this is really cool because it actually kind of supplies the line for you. But as you can see, the taper line is pretty much on par with my hand. Obviously, all of us have different sized hands, but that's the guide that I use for him. But so here is the left taper, right? His left ear, left taper, and I'm going to just use it. You just go up and around the ear. And you see it gives you that kind of like automatic fade that you're going to build around. And again, you take that all the way to the front. And again, I apologize, guys, because it's just a little awkward to stand like this with the camera in the way. But I would rather you see what I'm doing. Okay, and so see, there's our taper, there's our line, but now, because the taper is very short, it looks really weird. So let's take you around to the other side. Let's do the other taper as well, and then we'll actually go back to that 9 millimeter. All right, here's his right side, which looks very different from the left, right, guys? All right, so we're gonna put on the right taper. Again, right ear, right taper. And Can you just go up and around the ear? And you could even pull the ear down a bit. And just bring it up and around. And if you pull the ear down, you'll get really nice behind. And again, what's nice about the taper is it's making that line for you. Okay. And again, it looks extremely dramatic right now because we haven't faded anything down here yet, which is okay for right now. This is going to be our guideline. Okay, so that's our taper on the right side. So again, 9mm. And now what we're going to do is, again, do this side of the head because I hadn't done it yet. And again, if you go forward, you will not cut as much and not as dramatically. And again, your hand is still that visual kind of guide for how high. I'm not going to make my clippers go any like higher than this because that's where that line is going to be. So yes, we can go up here, but again, once you get to the top of the head, make sure you stay more forward. Okay, so this is where we're doing the right and the back. And yes, now hair is coming off again because remember, we were doing a 1/2 inch and now we're at a 3/8 inch. We were at the 12mm before and now we're at the 9mm. So it is taking off some hair. But again, you can use your hand from the crown of his head, and I can see the crown here. I'm not really going to go much higher than my hand because I want that line to be the same all around. And if you notice that it's a little different from side to side, keep checking, keep, eyeballing. You can stop. Look from the front is always a good idea. And I'll show you guys that too. What it looks like right now. So you see from the front, hey. Woo, trying not to knock into everything. Again, we're working on it, so it's a work in progress, but you go slow, you take your time, you use your hand, and okay, so we're still going to do the 9mm because again, I still want to kind of just finish up on the back before we continue to go a little shorter. Again, not much higher than this. And then the other trick that I have found is that if I actually go down using that same size, I blend in the hair a lot better. So I'm making the line not as harsh. Which some people like seeing the lines, which is cool. Hubby is not one of those. He would rather it all kind of, feel blended and nice. I'm just getting this side again a little bit because... Okay. There we go. And I think for the 9 for right now, that's really good. Okay. Now we're going to switch to our next size, which is going to be the 6 millimeter or the 1/4 inch. So here, again, now I'm going to be actually following what the taper did. So 9 is kind of here. You'll see it gets a lot shorter, a little bit lower. So when I use the 6, I'm just making like, almost using like 2 fingers, or maybe like 1.5 inches of space. And you could even see it too as you cut, because you want it to look similar. So it's a little lower from this first line, right? From that first kind of hand line. And you're not going as high though as that 9 millimeter did. But again, hair is now coming off again, because now we are at, you know, that 1/4 inch length. And we're going to do the same thing again all the way around. And if you need to use your hand, if you need to go slow, please do, right? So we were here, and now we're going to go down just a little bit and use the clipper. And again, his hair is coming off. It's getting sucked up because we started long and then we go short. And I'm going to do the exact same thing on this side as well. And again, you can see the line. It's starting to look a lot more uniform, right? And then what I'll do again to blend it, I bring it down. And again, you'll see, it's looking a lot more kind of uniform. Okay, so here we are at the back of his head. As you can see, again, we kind of have like, it's again longer, right, from the top with the hand, and then it's starting to get a little shorter. Again, from that line that we made just on the side of his head with the, oh, thank you. See the taper, how it's still very short. This is actually more of the 3 millimeter. So I'm going to grab that now. But I wanted you guys to see how we do the back as we get it really short, because that's where the shortest part is going to be. So actually, if you wouldn't mind tilting your head again. So you see as I cut, and again, this one is going to stop right behind the ear. And you'll see it now matches with that taper that we had. And it's another, you know, again, we're making another line just behind the head. All right, you can, there we go. And we're making kind of like a U shape. And taking off all these extra pelitos, all these extra hairs at the side of his head as well. But so we're following, again, the curvature of the hair, or of the head. And if you look this way, you'll see again that taper is there. So you're getting just behind the ear. Okay, you can look straight ahead again. And then you're kind of matching it up, right? We were making a U shape. And it's a wider U. But it's also so that way the back of his head and the side of his head doesn't look like all of a sudden we chopped hair off. again, go down. And it really helps to make it look a lot more even. See that? And now that U shape is still there, but it looks, again, a lot more uniform. And please go slow. Take care of your hubby's heads, or your son's heads. I've been going a little fast here. And the whole point of this is to take your time, especially if it's the first time. And because you don't want to pull at the hair, you don't want to tug, because then they don't ever want you to do their hair ever again. Okay. With this 3mm, I also tend to do a little bit of his sideburns. He usually does them himself because I get nervous. But the 3mm is nice because, again, it's that same kind of uniform size. I let him take care of, like, from his ear line down, because he'll trim that with his trimmers for his beard. So all my beard men out there, take care of your own beards. But then again, you have anything next to the ear, you can always take care of that. And this you could go a little bit back for, again, to kind of pick that up. Okay, now this side of his head looks more like a bowl cut to me than the other side. And it wasn't as blended, so I'm going to go down a little bit. There we go. So I'm actually going to pick up, again, it's 12 at the top and then 9 here, so I'm actually going to pick up the 9 again and blend it a little more. So I'll go with the 9, and again, I'll go forward at first. And then I'll go down. And already it's looking less harsh, like the line. I don't want to go too high with this one again, because he does like the length of the 12 at the top. And sometimes even, we can even take the 12 again as well, that 12mm or that 1/2 inch. And I'll just go back over it, because sometimes when you start off, again, and everything's the one length, you miss some spots. So this way, you can make sure you get it. And a lot of the kits come with a comb. Please use the comb. It makes sure that, again, everything is even. So we're brushing everything forward now. Again, and I'm using the 1/2 inch again, because that's what he likes at the top. And I'm just going. And yeah, it is picking up a few things that I might have missed. Yep. And look how nicely the fade kind of is coming down now. Not as harsh. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Again, combing it forward. And I'm using, again, my longest length for anything I might have missed at the beginning. And again, you want to go forward, because if you go back, you will cut off all of the hair. You don't want to do that. So again, this last pass through is blending. making things even. There was one time too that I thought I was being really awesome and like professional haircut lady, and I started brushing his hair up and back as I cut forward, and I was thinking I was like doing some awesome thing, but I was actually just cutting off more hair. So just make sure again you're following, you know, the growth of the hair. You're looking very nice there. So here he is from the front, and what's nice is that it is, again, this is where you will start to see, you know, have you missed anything? Have you, you know, forgotten maybe a spot? Is it looking too harsh? Oop. Is it looking too harsh on one spot? For me right now, all I can see, and again, it's not bad, but there's just, it seems like it's a little bit longer on this side. If you turn just a little bit, it's a little longer just right here. So I'm gonna, again, I'm still using my longest guide, which is the 12 millimeter. I'm gonna use that again to go forward. And I just may have missed a couple of pieces. And if nothing changes, I'll actually just bust out the scissors. But you see again, the motion is forward, forward, forward. And that is what will get you. All right. So yeah, it's actually much better now. So if you can look side to side. So you look on one side. Again, you see the line, but again, it's not as harsh as it was before. The side. You turn just one more time for me again on the other side. All right, so I can actually see right here, it's not as short as it needs to be, like it is on the other side. This side is very, like, it's very much like the same length, and then it's the same length, and then like it cuts away. So this one, it looks like I missed kind of like this one little piece here. Big deal? Not really. You know, is it going to make him look ridiculous for the next couple of weeks? No, not really. It wouldn't, you know, I mean, and actually, I mean, you know, it's a little different on camera than it is in real life. So, but for me, right, I do think that I could make this look a little nicer. So again, you always start longer. So I'm going to go to, more than likely this is a 6. That's the issue here. But I'm going to do the 9. It just looks a little longer to me. So now I'm with the 9 millimeter. You can turn forward again so you don't hurt your neck. And actually, I'm going to go back one. Just right here. Yeah, is anybody really going to notice except me? Probably not, honestly. Also, we're in the house for the next couple of weeks, so it's really not that big of a deal. But again, you know, if you do want to be doing, you know, your boys or your husband's hair going forward, you know, you'll start to see and notice the things that kind of stick out to you. All right, so turn one more time. Okay, so see how it's a little bit better now right here in this spot? It's much better, actually. Okay. And then again, just to kind of blend, I'm going to go down. Okay. All right, so it's looking good from the front, looking good from the side. Again, we've kind of made like a U shape. I'm gonna do my, where's my 6 millimeter. One more time, again, a little bit on this side. And again, you're kind of making multiple layers, like each fade layer is its own kind of U shape around the head. And then I go down, all the way down. But I am still sticking, again, to that spot that I didn't like as much. But yeah, so that's what we have there. He does like the front to stay a little bit longer. I actually think right now he typically will wait a little bit longer between cuts. This hasn't been that long, so sometimes I'll have to cut a little in the front. I don't think today I need to do that because I think you're actually looking pretty good here, sir. But I am going to, just really quick to show you what I would do, is I would take, again, my comb that it came with. I use the smaller teeth. Let's see that you can see this. All right, so what I would do then is use the side of the comb with the smaller teeth and just bring it forward so that way, any little flyaways are even. And again, that both sides look kind of symmetrical. Again, his hair has no product in it right now or anything, so again, anything we're doing will also change as he puts that stuff in. So again, these are just little hairs that are kind of extra around his head. Okay, great. So let me just take you on a tour around his head. So again, we started with the 12 on the top. We got down to the 9, and then 6, and 3, and again, it kind of goes all the way around, and as you go, it's making, again, like each layer is making a nice U. Okay, so this is the part where I would have hubby go check his style in the mirror and make sure he likes it and everything's okay and everything looks all right. If he needs me to cut a little extra or he wants a little shorter on top. So everything's good right now. What we're going to do next is do the cleanup, and this is the part he loves the most because it takes away all of the extra little hairs that he had at the bottom. What I do is I don't use anything to guard, so please be careful with this part. I use the natural kind of line that he has already built into his hair to follow, and so again, we're just kind of making a nice little edge and carrying it around. What I'll do is I'll actually use just the points of the blade, and you'll see in just a minute I kind of like poke him with it and it'll make a nice line. And once I have the line, then I will flip it around and kind of follow up. And that's just because if I see the line, then I know, then I can judge that I'm doing, what I'm supposed to be. So what I'll do first is I'll show you guys how I make that line, and then we'll cut, and then we'll be done. So again, I'm using kind of like the natural line, and I'll take kind of right from the back of the middle of his ear. And you can see it. You can see the line. And here I go. I'm going around. And again, from the middle of his ear and kind of slanted back. And those little pokes kind of just gave me, again, a semblance of a guideline. So you'll see it right here, and then that's what I follow. As I bring the clippers up, I'll stop at that line that I just made. And I'll pull his shirt down a little bit because he's got all these little extra hairs here too. And I'll stop at that line I made. Stop at the line. Clean up all this stuff. And again, I made a line. So I'm coming up and stopping at the line. Stopping at the line. Up. 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 Now, certainly you can feel free to like freehand this part. But again, I've been doing this 2.5 years and I still like to make myself a guideline. And again, you can kind of see it. So I go up and I stop. At that line. Whoop. And then you just do a bit of a check. Okay, so here is the line that was made. And you can always back up and look. And you can see, again, it's pretty symmetrical. If you need to go back, you can always do that. But if we look all the way around, you have now just cut your hubby's hair. And he's happy. You're happy. And the world is at peace for another 2 weeks. Okay, you guys. So hubby has gone up and styled his hair the way he likes it. And as you can see, he looks like a whole new man. Again, take your time, give yourself some grace when it comes to doing this because, you know, these are times where we all need to be kind to one another and to ourselves. And just know that, again, the hair will grow back. So if for some reason by accident you cut him too short or something like that, you know, just know that it will grow back and that you'll be able to try again another time. Again, this was a work in progress for us, and we've been doing this for a while, and he has been gracious because there have been times where I have made him super short at the top or or something like that. And again, he's just been so sweet and so awesome. So I am so glad that we are able to do this for you guys, or able to provide some kind of video so you guys can get your hair done at home. Again, let him take care of his sideburns or anything like that he's got going on. But the hair, again, sorry, is, you know, it's once it's done, it's done. And then you guys can enjoy the rest of your time. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your days, and we hope to see you again on here soon. All right, ciao guys. Bye.
Bye.